Spirit is a consciousness. It is an energy. And this consciousness is all over. There are many spirits throughout the entire land, like the spirit of the trees, nature, the water, things of the sort. They just don't have a human body, so you can access them, but you have to have ways to, I guess, have their favor, or they have to want to reveal themselves to you or be wanting to show you, who they are. And so Spirit is a consciousness, it's a frequency, and it's everywhere. My name is Diamond Woods. I am the owner of Shrine and Divinity, and who I am a priestess of the water. I work with Mama Oshun, and I do lots of healing work for the community.
For the Lord is my refuge, my God in whom I trust. The Lord is my refuge, the Most High is our dwelling.
Spirituality for me has always been rooted in me. I grew up in a very Christian household, but somehow for me, I just never connected. My mother had me at a very young age. She had me at 15 going on 16. From there, she really didn't know about parenting or how to really care for a child, of course, understandably so. But when she met my stepfather, she had me, 1 year old, and they were both trying to figure out and make it. They weren't a really good blend for each other. They're not together today, but there was a lot of stress, toxic ways that they talked to each other, toxic things that they did. They were young and they were trying to figure it out. By the time she met my stepfather, I believe she had to be about 19, going on 20, going into college. It was just a lot. They really didn't know how to blend with each other, and I was just caught in the crossfire of it all. And because of that home being so toxic and I not having any safe space to be, I remember being in school and I was picked on in school, and then I go home and then there was trauma in the home, and I couldn't find peace. And even when I told teachers about what was happening to me, my mother at the time, she didn't believe me. She thought that I was the person who was starting everything. And I have since forgiven her. We worked better on our relationship, but I was broken in so many ways. I realized I've been spiritual my entire life, and I had like this intuitive knowing, like there was a feeling or like a sense that I could feel. Now that I've evolved more, I can hear better, I can hear clearly. But back then, as a young girl trying to figure it out, and then I had so much stress and trauma on me, like I couldn't, hear spirit the way that I needed to, but what I felt in my body was peace. I felt serenity, I felt home. It felt like that's where I was supposed to be. So I went out into nature as much as I could. I would have my little crystals, my incense things, and I wasn't scared because it was like, it's worse at home. I felt like I had nowhere to be. I felt like I didn't belong here. And if it was so hostile in my living space, what other danger could, even take me out? It wasn't even a thought. It was just like, it could not get worse than that. And because I felt like it couldn't get worse than that, I was more open to just leaving and going and just being wild and free out wherever I was, in South Carolina, North Carolina. I traveled far, and I went to the different waterfalls. For some reason, I was just always drawn to water. I was always in water. So I took that, I ran with it, and I began to hear spirit talk to me more, especially at the waters. The way that I was treated in certain healing spaces growing up, there was a lot of egotism, hierarchy. If you don't follow it their way, then it's an issue. And it didn't seem like they were very open to really helping. It was more like money. I just felt a lot, aside from just not having the funds to get the help, there was just so much ego. And it also seemed like a parade of just who's the biggest and the baddest, that it seemed like they lost sight of truly helping the people. So even though I went to those spaces, I couldn't find help. I went to Thailand because I remember I was going to college at the time. I was just getting ready to graduate. I had met who's my children's father now, And so he was like, I'm in Thailand, you wanna come? And I'm like, of course, like, you know, whatever's going on here, I could leave it. I didn't feel like I was safe here because I grew up here in Atlanta, I'm from here, and the spiritual circles that I was trying to be in or integrate in just to find some sort of peace or love or happiness or community or somebody to care, it was toxic in those spaces too. So I was just like, at a loss of words for what I was experiencing. I was like, was there nobody to care for me or even just see me and how I needed help? So I left without a shadow of a doubt. It wasn't an issue. I was gone. I went to Thailand and it was the best experience of my life because I got to see how they honored and worshiped their ancestors and spirits. I got to see that no, I wasn't crazy. There are other cultures around the world who live out loud with their ancestors and their gods. And it blew my mind. It was just like, you have a house for them? They have their own space. Here I am back in America trying to hide, even just lighting the incense and a candle. And here you guys are living in whole ceremonies out in the forefront. And it was amazing. It was amazing to me. So I was engulfed in the beauty of their culture and how they were so connected to their gods and their deities. And ever since then, I was like, there's nothing nobody can tell me. Here I am in this other world, in this other land, and they're doing exactly what they want to do. And people aren't demonizing them. They aren't calling them crazy. They aren't looking at them like there's an issue. But when it came to me, or I would just say maybe Black people trying to live out loud in our culture, we were demonized, we were looked down upon, we weren't allowed to be who we truly wanted to be with our ancestors and spirits. And so being in Thailand changed my life, and I thank the Thai people so much for being out front and so forward with who they are. I knew that I had to come and do things better and different. I actually was an English teacher abroad and I wasn't gonna come back home. My ancestors told me to come home, that there was work to do. Now that I sent you out and I showed you these things, come back and do the work. I'm a seer, and being a seer is defined as someone who can just see beyond what's in this physical reality. And for me, being a seer, I would define me in the way that I am a seer as being able to see exactly what's going on with people, or what may be needing to be addressed, or what's coming to them, or also just being very in tune. So I find myself just being very connected to what spirit has to share when I meet someone.
She's never made me feel like alienated or made me feel like you can't ask that. Like if you have a question, she's more than willing to answer it, especially if it's coming from like a place of true curiosity and from a place of love. So my name is Elantra. I practice sound therapy as well as energy healing. I met Goddess Diamond in February, and I was instructed by Spirit to obtain a mentor. At that time, I didn't know that she offered mentorship, but I went back and I asked, like, do you offer the type of mentorship I might need? And she welcomed me in with open arms. So ever since then, we've just been like tied in. Goddess Diamond is a lifesaver. I was completely lost when I found her, or before I found her. I honestly really didn't have any clue what I was doing. I had no clue who I was. I was depressed and I was anxious and I couldn't figure out why. And she taught me that, anxiety is energy. It's trauma that has been stored and that we need to release. And when I start to look at it that way, I start to do more work surrounding the energy of anxiety. And my life has changed since then. I feel like I'm walking with more purpose. I'm more intentional with my day, knowing that my purpose here is to heal and to figure out how to hold more space for our sisters.
Hey, hello, my name is Shamika, and I know Diamond through her mentoring me. Our relationship went from me just going to river cleanses, then I started doing one-on-ones with her. Then it turned into a mentorship. Now we're very close friends. We're sisters. I was going through a lot. I was on anxiety medication. I was actually, during the time of marriage, I was living in my car. So she helped me transform the mentality of the world and made it to where I was looking into myself, to where I found myself. She had so much love and understanding what I was going through. She never judged me for it. She helped me through it. She made me feel like, well, she didn't make me feel like, but just being in her mentorship class, I knew that it was a purpose, and the purpose was what I'm doing now, and I'm facilitating with her. I'm alongside with her. I see the back end of what she does. So she helped me grow mentally, and for her to be so much younger than me, I look up to her so much. Like, I really do. I look up to her so much. She's a wonderful mom. She's just a wonderful person.
As I started just working with the water spirit, it was starting to reveal to me who I was actually working with. I was at the rivers, I was at the lakes, I was at the creeks. You know, Georgia doesn't have an ocean like that unless we're going to Savannah. So I had to find the nearest body of water that I could actually just get in and cleanse in. I learned through that more things started to open up as far as my bloodline, coming from West Africa, Nigeria, Ifa being of my ancestral bloodline. There was one point in time where my ancestors did have their own Orisha, but I do feel like due to being enslaved in the transatlantic slave trade and stuff, like they were removed from their Orishas. So as I started to do this work and just be out in nature, I started to connect with the Orisha that was working with me, working with my family and things of the sort. So I never actually went to Ifa with my hand out asking to be in it. The Orisha came to me, and through her being willing to heal me, hearing my cries, hearing my prayers, everything opened up. And then I learned where I came from. And so now, you know, I do have my respects paid to Ifa. I do have a godfather. I do work alongside him. We do our work, we give our offerings, we say our prayers, and we do what's necessary, especially to make sure that I'm doing things the way that it should be done, and I'm also being covered and protected in my work. I think that's very important, that I'm covered and protected in my work, because we'll have a lot of people who look on the outside in whatever spiritual practice that they are in, and some people may feel a type of way that I'm actually working with Oshun, or there was a different route and path that I went through to access her. She revealed herself to me, and there was a point in time that I didn't even want to claim Oshun because of people would be upset. You know, people who have done certain initiations and did all this stuff to be able to rise to certain ranks, and then here I am just going to the water where she lives, that's her domain, that's her, and being able to use my gifts to hear and connect with her. Oshun is the goddess of the sweet waters, of love, of healing. She really comes in to take care of the people who seek her for cleansing. She is over blessings and abundance. She holds the power to be able to turn something from being completely detrimental to being very, very abundant, prosperous, and just full of love, full of beauty, and full of life. So there are so many layers to Oshun that can be talked about, but just to share one layer or aspect of her, she is the goddess who cares about us, our livelihoods, and making sure that we're okay and that we can be cleansed and that we are sweet. She sweetens our life with honey, and she also shows us ourselves. She makes sure that we are working on our emotions. We're clearing out things that are not here for our highest good. She's evolving us. If you connect with her, she will evolve you in a way that will set you on your path and keep you covered, and again, make your life sweet. So the river cleanse is a very, very special ceremony. It's free because she wants it that way. and I love it. But it's open to those of us who need to connect back to our ancestral roots. They want to connect back to the healing waters of Mama Oshun. They need a safe space to just gather in spiritual community and talk to each other, heal together, pray together, cleanse together, release together. It's a very special ceremony that evolved beyond what I ever would have dreamed and imagined, you know? So I remember one day we just went viral, and then hundreds of people showed up. And then it was just go time from there. And I evolved with the river cleanse as the river cleanse evolved. I didn't have it all together in the beginning. I didn't know everything in the beginning. I was still trying to figure it out. I barely even spoke Mama Oshun's name because I didn't want to be, felt like I was in territory and saying things I shouldn't be or things of the sort, but she made herself known. And then other babalawos and priests would come and they would talk to me and say, Mama Oshun is with you. She's here. She's present. She's helping you. She's gonna be testing you, you know? And I had to really sit with that realization, like, wow, I really am connected. You know, this is really real. It was beyond what I ever thought I would be at the center and forefront doing. I never tried to do this. I never asked for it. I didn't have my hand out like me. It was more like spirit pushing me like, you can do this. I told you, get up here and do it. And when I did it, it worked. So that's how it blossomed into something beautiful. But the river cleanse is here for the community to be able to come out, enjoy themselves, connect with the water, connect with Mama Oshun, bless themselves. It's almost like a big baptism, honestly. We pull stuff off of you, we dip you in the water, we cleanse yourself in the water, and then we give offerings. We pour honey, we give flowers, we sing songs, we do breath work, different chanting, we work on our chakras, and people meet friends from the river cleanse, and they are like lifelong friends from. I feel like I was called because of the way that I do things. To be very honest and blunt, there's a type of love, nurture, and care that I provide in healing spaces that many people are looking for. They're looking for someone to say, I see you, it's okay, you're safe, here's a hug, I got your hand. Like Mama will come in and she will hold their hands, she will rub their head, she will rub their bellies, she will hold them, you know, and they're looking for a level of care that wasn't there even when I was growing up in spaces that I was trying to find that type of care, because I said back then, this cannot be. Y'all cannot act this way. We cannot move from ego and whatever else that was that they were doing, and people are really seeking help, you know? And so because I feel like I was furious, I was upset, I went to nature, I cried about it, I truly needed the help, I feel like she blessed me to be able to do the work. And she chose me because I was so very serious about helping others and helping myself. It started from me helping myself, realizing that it was amazing work and that it was effective, and then of course sharing with a sister and it growing from there. But I feel like I was specifically chosen because I had been so dedicated to helping and healing myself and helping other people who came across my path. I wasn't forceful. I wasn't, you know, trying to, you know, hey, y'all come over here and sign up and da-da-da-da. You know, it was more like like I said, hey sis, you want to come? And then it just expanded. It was so natural. It was so pure. It was just from a level of love and care. And so a lot of people even say that they see in my work today that they can tell that I really enjoy my work and that it helps.
I would say she is extremely passionate, compassionate. She has a pure heart. I've never met anyone that is just so willing to help and that loves to truly help, and that takes the time to be intentional with every woman that she meets. And with all of our sisters, her taking the time in to not only allow us to feel safe, but she allows our ancestors to feel safe and allows spirit to come through and to give the messages that we need to know. I believe she's very intentional, very wise. She's very knowledgeable. She's always learning, even though she knows so much. So that's just a little bit about what I can say, but there's so much more that I could elaborate on.
She loves people and she loves helping people. And she's just a beautiful soul, and I love her. I love her to death. She's my sister.
Tapping into all those different energies who are assisting me, who really want to come and help, see that I'm doing the work from a good heart space. Just from doing that, I created a sisterhood and friends that are just unbreakable, it's unshakable. I was alone, I didn't have anybody. I cried every single day in my younger 20s. It was a lot. I was gifted, but Spirit came in and did 10 times more with me, like just embraced me and allowed me to share my gifts with others. And so it was a point in the beginning that I was very shocked that I could do this work, because I was like, what's going on? Realizing that this is creating sisterhood. These women trust me. They come to me for readings. They come to me for help. They believe in me and the work is working. That was my biggest thing. I said, as long as the work is working, then I'm good. If it's not working, I will pack all this up, I will leave, I won't ever do anything else. But because people keep coming to me about how I changed their life, you know, I'm grateful. I'm sitting with all of this too. You know, I'm excited, but I've created a sisterhood, a bond. I now mentor people. I help guide people. People come into my healing spaces and work alongside me who are, you know, ready to do this work. I realized that it takes a team. It takes a community to be very solid, to be able to create, again, effective change. So outside of just myself, other people came to me and they found peace in a true sister in me. So I don't take it lightly today. Whereas before, I was just like, I can't believe this happening. I suffered for so long. I could never find a true friend. And so today I'm just grateful. I remember I asked my mother, why did you name me Diamond? I didn't like my name at one point. But now that I'm older, pressure creates diamonds. And they gave me the perfect name. And in the midst of what we go through that causes a lot of pressure, a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, you know, nothing happens for no reason. We're supposed to take those experiences and help to evolve with those experiences to assist other people who may be stuck and lost in the void of the similar experiences that you have gone through or that I have gone through, traumatic experiences. And so with that, I would say, whatever you're going through, whatever's happening, learn the lesson from it, apply it, and see how you can create change in the world. And so to have the name Diamond, I now love my name because I realize they absolutely named me right. It is all that I am. Being pressurized and cooked under harsh conditions all through my entire 20s until I hit 30, I emerged as a diamond. So I would say, be gentle with your journey. Know that things have processes, there are levels to everything. Spirit's not going to give you more than you can handle, but they're going to gradually open you up and put you through things to help evolve you so that when you're at that level where you can come in and assist others, you know from experience, you didn't just read a book, you know from experience, and you can create effective change. I heard